Welcome to Get Serious. I want to dive into some tactical business operational help here. So I've been listening and reading Sharon Srivatsa's content a lot more recently. Again, he's one of the new managing or a new managing partner at acquisition.com, the Hermosi's, for those who aren't familiar. And, Sharon's built a couple of $1 billion both within the real estate industry. So, I really try to pay attention to some of the tactics and strategies that he mentions. And even taking a step back from that before we get into some of the details here and how you have to adapt it to your own business, it's like when you hear from some of these folks who have, really, built something substantial, I think some of the times where, if it might even invoke a little bit of a fear response, or I don't know if I can implement that. I really think you should, and I include myself here too. You have to step back and ask, why not? And if you really, want to build a business on, kind of that upper echelon level, or really, push to reach your maximum potential within a professional, I think it always, it's worth bearing in mind. It's okay, these folks didn't get to where they are for no reason here. They're sharing, what could be very aggressive tactics and strategies that require you to stay, a ton of focus and dedication to implement properly. But it's okay, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. And so, Sharon was talking about something more recently this week of just having, he basically would pre-log his end of week report, and he's been doing this for a number of years here. So, it was okay, and his example that he was giving was that his goal was to get 5 client calls per week, because that was enough to continue to build up a customer base and, grow the company based on that kind of core metric. His mentor at the time was okay, no, but, you can't just have a goal to get 5 client calls or potential client calls. It's okay, you already need to have those calls booked into your calendar even before they've been filled, knowing that you have to fill them by the end of the week, because you already know that's the metric that you need to hit. So that was a more granular example, but it could be a number of things within your business. You need to know, hey, I need to get this test done, where, you might typically have an end of week report, or kind of okay, we got all of this done here, but so many things, as we well know, can come up within a business. Different fires come up, different priorities come up, and then all of a sudden what your initial plan for the week was can get disrupted and distracted, and then you wonder why, hey, I'm not hitting the actual core goals that need to happen to drive the business forward. So instead, he just, brought the end of week report to the start of the week, and it's okay, here's what the end of week report needs to look like. So no matter what, these things need to happen, on top of whatever else might come up within the business. So it maintains the level of commitment for, basically pre-logging what needs to be hit in order to maintain and grow the metrics that you're actually measuring. So it's kind of a subtle shift in terms of how you think about things, and it requires a significant amount of foresight, right? A lot of folks, myself included, I'm not having a pre-logged end of week report. I generally have certain goals, or based on the day, I'll have a list to knock down, but it's not okay, I've just pre-logged everything this week and knowing that I need to get that done. Mentally, I think that'd be a bigger help too, because it can just get you over certain hurdles that might be distracting you from reaching those greater heights that you're actually trying to achieve. And again, there's some initial fear there. It's man, can I really do something like that? I don't know if my business is in that stage to be doing it. And it's well, why not? Again, step back and ask, hey, if these folks who you've looked up to, and have clearly achieved a significant level of professional success, are really advocating for this and showing how much it helped them in their journey and still helps them now. Like, this is what the best players, like, this is the level that they're playing at, then you pretty much have to bump yourself to that level in order to even compete. That's just something that I have to keep reframing with myself. And we really want to build a huge business. Like, that might not necessarily be your goal, but at the same time, it's like any small business owner needs to keep evolving, because the game keeps evolving along the way, where competitors get better, tools get simpler and more efficient to use. So like, either way, you have to keep upping your level of game, whether you like it or not, just to stay in business. So it's like, okay, why not take the best tools out there from the absolute best performers, so you can just level up even faster, so you're not like constantly in a struggle mode just to keep your head above water. So just wanted to mention that. But then, you also need to adapt within the needs and current setup within the business. So for instance, like, I keep learning the differences between running a software company, startup software company with Land Pricer, and then our funding company, Serious Land Capital. And, the way to handle engineering tasks, like, it's just different. It's hard to describe necessarily if you haven't done it before. Like, I still learn lessons every single day, and where it's like, a lot of what I've learned running the funding business did not immediately carry over to how to run a software company. Like, it's just it's a different skill set. It's a whole nother podcast for a different time, but suffice to say, there's just so many technical differences in how you manage tasks and so forth. And so I was bringing this up with our Land Pricer team, who, we have a core CTO and a senior engineer that are doing like all the coding work effectively to get our product off the ground. And we have just this slew of bugs and tasks all within our ClickUp task manager system to get done. And we're just trying to, sort through different priority tags. And it's just like, okay, how do we knock these things out? And we're trying to have super quick sprints, like, just, again, stick on maker schedule, so we're not disrupting the flow of, we're just have to keep delaying this product because it's just taken forever to get something out with high standards here. But we have to produce something good. And so I brought up some of those tactics, like, okay, I know we've been constantly delayed here, guys. Like, I still don't have a good idea on whether we can launch effectively by the end of this coming month here. Like, can we start sussing that out? Can we try implementing, okay, we're going to have like this dedicated end of week report that we, basically pre-log prior. And, there was pushback from our CTO, who, again, is just more experienced than I am in the engineering space. And he's like, that, from a project management side, the only issue is like, that also takes a significant amount of time. And like, he was doing some management, just aligning some of these tasks, whereas they could have been knocked out executing on the actual tasks and subtasks themselves. And he's like, if we had a team of 5, that would really make sense to do. But like, when we're a team of 2, at least for the engineering side, we just need to churn these things out. We have the priorities, boom, 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 like, knock them out. Like, any time that's not used on that, or if we're just trying to structure and like game plan and so forth, like, that's just preventing us from hitting our goals. And like, that, to me, like, the logic of that makes a lot of sense. Like, I want to see the progress being made on the daily, and like unblocking me so I can keep testing the product. So that's why you have to adjust some of these tactics and strategies to your actual situation at hand. Whereas for the funding business, even though it's still a small team itself, like, it can make more sense. Okay, where I'm going to like pre-log things that need to happen within the business. Just because we've also built more systems in place. It's a little bit more mature of a business as well here. Given we've made substantial revenue and so forth. And again, it's just, it's not software. Like, it's just it's a different process of running the business. So all of that to say, I think like the summary of this pod here is that it's like, okay, learn from the absolute best. How are they running their operations and structuring their days and maintaining, self accountability and team accountability? Like, and be able to overcome your fear and realize, yeah, I should be doing these things as well, if I really want to play on the highest level, or just stay stuck and not accomplishing the potential that you have within you. And then also accounting for, okay, what type of business am I running? Do I need to adapt it based on the size of the team and the exact core needs of the business at any given time? So that is the flip side here, where you still need to think for yourself and your exact situation. Nobody's situation is exactly the same. So that is the messiness and creativity required to succeed as an entrepreneur, is being able to deal with problems no one has ever solved before. So that is kind of the crux of the matter. So hopefully this one is helpful here today. It helps me, kind of reflect and think about the things I'm constantly learning as well, too, just in the day to day. And so we can all continue to grow together in, again, trickier market on average here. Like you got to keep upping your game. So seriousland.capital for any of your funding needs. Okay, minimum purchase price, and then Land Daily Diligence Facebook group, zero cost review for land deals, and landpricer.ai for the most reliable land pricing tool on the market. With that, everybody, subscribe and share. Talk to you in a few days. Take care. Bye.